everybody, welcome back. I'm sat here with Shaz from Digimax. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Nikki. Thank you for arranging this interview. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you so much for joining me. I know how super duper busy you are. So for the few people watching who may not know who you are, can you please just introduce yourself?
Sure. If I meet someone in a lift, the one line I say to them is, I design websites for dentists, if they ask me, of course. But the longer answer is that I run a dental marketing agency called Digimax Dental, which I started when I was 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
In 2003, yes. And I'm proud to say today Digimax is one of the world's highest rated dental marketing agencies. We're a team of 30 and we're based in Marylebone, London. This is where it gets a little bit interesting because it's an identity crisis. So I'm also the author of 2 books. One is a global bestseller called Instagram for Dentists.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't know that.
No? Okay.
No.
I need to get you a copy. And I also, yeah, definitely. And I also founded a charity in 2019 called Wells on Wheels. The charity delivers this invention called the water wheel to villages in rural India where young girls have to walk back and forth all day in the heat for miles just to transport water. So what the water wheel does is removes them from that so they can attend the schools in the villages. So that's the other side of me, yes.
That's amazing. I didn't know that either.
Okay.
Fantastic. So Shaz, what does it mean to you to have received this accolade this year?
See, this is the second year I received it. So when I first received it last year, it came as a complete shock to be number 14 out of 50.
Wow.
I knew I was nominated, but I just couldn't believe that I would receive it as a non-dentist. And well, you know, once I got over the shock, I was just filled with so much confidence that I'm doing all the right things to help the dental profession, because you do things but you don't really know if you're making an impact. So all the votes just filled me with confidence. So it meant a lot to me because people have to go out their way to vote. So it's been amazing to have it.
Yeah, it's slightly different this year, isn't it?
Yes.
There wasn't a vote. So, you know, I just think it's so lovely to see so many people who've been working behind the scenes to, you know, in a really supportive way, you know, doing the kind of things, the charitable things that you're doing. That's amazing. You know, there's been a lot of good stuff that's not been visible, and I think it's been recognised now, which is fantastic.
And I actually love this year's list because it's a little bit different. There's a lot of sort of behind the scenes people that have been pushed to the front, and I think they all deserve it. And that recognition is giving them so much more confidence to go and do great things. So I love the shape this top 50 is taking.
Yeah, me too. So Shaz, like any business owner, you must have faced your challenges along the way. So how have those presented themselves to you? And what message would you give to our audience if they're currently facing challenges to overcome whatever they're facing?
Absolutely. I mean, life is all about challenges, and particularly, you know, when you're starting a business, and I started it at the age of 18, my challenges have been numerous, to be honest with you, Nikki. It's often fighting with mentally unproductive thoughts. You're still maturing, and just the big one for me was taking feedback personally. When you're so invested in what you do and you're so passionate about it, sometimes, you know, the younger me didn't really see what was being said for exactly what it's being said. You tend to overthink. So one of the challenges was understanding that, you know, don't take things too personally. People often don't mean anything more than what they've said there and then. And if I look at the feedback that I received, like for example, I'm a designer, I don't know if you know, Nikki, so I would make designs and send them off, and I was always receiving great feedback. That's why I started Digimax. So in the early days, whenever I'd get some negative feedback, it would really knock my confidence. So I would just say not taking things too personally has been a challenge for me. And the other thing is how hard you try. So when you've got a goal, you set a goal, you go and try and attempt to do something. And I watched a TED talk once which says, if you haven't tried 10 times, you haven't really tried. And I think I've always applied that without really knowing. Like if my why for that goal is strong enough, I will try and try and try and try. And if it gets to the 10th or 12th time, usually by that time I've been successful. So I'd say people, and even my team, the younger people that we employ, they tend to tell themselves a story very quickly. Oh, that didn't work. That's never going to happen for me. And I ask, well, how much did you try? And I often find by the second attempt or third attempt, we're very quick at telling ourselves a story of failure, when the truth is we just didn't persevere.
So Shaz, what's your driving force, would you say, your main driving force to keep going? You know, what gets you out of bed in the morning?
Every day for me is about being better than I was yesterday. I know it sounds a little bit cliched, but with the level of support that I have received and I continue to receive, I feel like I've got this responsibility to keep delivering, keep innovating. And with the charity, I've got a newfound responsibility, because now that we've started and seen firsthand that family is not really different to our own Nicki, just in really difficult settings, are having their lives changed by something so simple like a £28 water wheel, what we would spend on a main course in London.
Yeah,
I feel I've got this responsibility, and I must take this responsibility seriously, because it's very easy to live in this kind of society and, you know, we just focus on ourselves and our families. I feel like I've got a 4-year-old daughter. I feel as a parent, you don't have a responsibility just to your own children. You've got a responsibility to other children who are very innocent and they've got no help. So there's a lot that drives me, Nicki, but charity work is one of them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, you know, to do what you do, Shaz, you obviously have some deep-rooted values. So what are those? Can you share those with us?
It's a tough one. I mean, for me, it's always happiness over wealth. Time and moments with loved ones for me are everything. And I said to you, I've got a 4-year-old daughter. So for me, it was a bit of a boy to man moment when we took my daughter Helena home. And that's when I realized that, you know, life shouldn't be about 24/7, just working in one place and neglecting very important parts of our life. And we've all heard sayings like, you know, on our deathbed, we're not going to remember, you know, how many emails we sent. It's going to be about what impact we actually made to the world. So really, it's for me, it's about leaving a legacy which is far bigger than myself, to help people way out, miles and miles and miles away, and make a change. And I've started to see that people actually say, you know, when we arrive with the wheels in these villages, Nicki, they say, we cannot believe that someone in London is thinking about us. They're in tears.
That's wonderful. Really, it must have made you feel amazing to hear that, and to know that you're making such an impact on lives.
Well, honestly, I've never been more fulfilled in my life than I am right now because of
Fantastic.
that. I never felt that I could give to charities, because I couldn't get that feeling. You know, if you help someone on the streets, someone homeless, you feed them, you get that immediate impact.
Yes.
I wasn't getting that with large charities. So I just took it upon myself to give our donors that feeling by the way we document it and making it so simple. So it's been life-changing for me personally as an individual.
Fantastic. So, Shaz, what are the things that, I know we've talked about your values, but what do you value in life more than anything? Whether that's, you know, family, or whether it's, I mean, I was interviewed this morning and mine's honesty. Yes. I think I really value black and white, you know, people who are totally black and white with me.
I think this is so important, and I love what you said about honesty. As I've got older, gone from 20 to 30 to almost 40, one thing that I really value is certainly honesty, integrity, and loyalty. These things are very important to me, and I've tried to build a business where every business has got, you know, a financial setting. You know, it should be able to help the people that work in the business, also the founder of the business. But really, the way we've designed Digimax is that we're only working with people that are on the same page as us. So one of the training sessions that I do with new recruits is we will show a typical client's face. It could be anyone, just on the screen. And we would ask these new recruits, tell us what you see. And sometimes they'll say, oh, well, I see a millennial, young Asian man, or I see a senior Englishman. That's what you see. And then what we do is we zoom out, Nicki, and we show a tree. We show partner, children, grandparents, parents, and we go on to explain that if you help this individual, you're helping all these people, because what we do as an agency is we help these brands grow. But really what we're saying is we're helping these brands, the owners of these brands, live a stronger, more fulfilled life by getting them the type of patients they want. So for me, the biggest value is helping every single client that trusts us, and so many clients trust us. So it's really, if you do good, you will attract good, and that's how we've grown our business. And our accountant says it's the most strange setup you've got as a business, because when someone calls, we don't take them on. There's an application form, and we ask questions, align them to us, and we have a waiting list and all our team are so happy. I can't think of any employee that's not been with us for 5 years plus, because we're attracting people who are like-minded and think like us.
Oh, do you know, I'm totally with you there, Shaz. It's all about creating the pull in your business, isn't it?
Yes.
And that reflects great leadership from you.
It's a risky proposition. Sometimes you have to say no. But we're very honest. We explain why we've said no. And it's allowed us to have a happier team. And just looking at the teams, right? You've got a mix of very young people all the way through to senior people. We're spending most of our time at work. So we need to be, as founders and leaders, creating happy workplaces. And I think that's extremely important to me. And I didn't understand this when I was 18 years old, when I started the company, because it was just me for 10, 15 years. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crucial. And that's one of the big driving forces behind the Exceptional Leadership Academy, is to help people, nurture their teams, but also personally develop as a leader. So they've got those really, really emotional connections with their team, but also with the patients, the clients that they're working with. So yeah, I'm totally with you there on building that culture. It is absolutely the concrete base of your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, culture is the right word, Nicki. Yeah, it's so important to us.
Absolutely. It sounds like you've got it completely nailed, which is wonderful. So Shaz, if I put you in a time machine and you whiz 10 years ahead,
yes,
what are your aspirations? What would you like to have achieved in 10 years' time?
Honestly,
and that can be in any area of your life. It doesn't have to be business.
Sure. I feel where I am right now is exactly where I want it to be. And the next 10 years for me, I'm still going to be running Digimax. I'm still going to be running the charity. And I'm doing the things that I'm most passionate about right now. And in the next 10 years, I just want to help thousands, if not millions more people. So thousands of Digimax, millions of Wells on Wheels in the next 10 years. And to be a good parent along the way. I want to set a real example to my daughter. So after me, I can leave the legacy with her to continue to give.
Fantastic. So just before we get to our closing point, is there anything about you that people don't know that you're happy to share?
There is one thing, and I was speaking to my wife about this, and she said you shouldn't tell people. But it's been on my mind, and this will be the first place I would have ever told anyone.
Oh, go on then.
As a designer, obviously you're working with colors. I have color blindness.
Really?
And no one knows.
Wow.
I can see the colors. I know what colors look good, but if you ask me to name, if I play snooker, I cannot tell red or brown apart.
Wow.
There's certain shades of green, blue and purple. They confuse me, but I've been able to find ways around. Like if you take me to Yo Sushi, I will not know how much a plate is because they're all colored, because the shades all vary. But when I'm on a computer, I've got enough tools to help me get by.
Yes.
But no one really knows this. And the funny thing is, in my team, I sometimes call people over to my desk and say, "What color is that?" Not one person has ever questioned me, saying, I get strange looks, but no one's ever asked me, why are you asking me? So it's been a secret all this time.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
So if there's one message that you would like to leave our audience with, Shaz, before I leave you, what would it be?
Prioritize your relationships in every aspect of life, whether it's work, family, home, friends. If your relationships are right, then everything else kind of falls into place. I've noticed in business and work and friendships that the biggest thing is relationships. Now, if I think back to my wedding, half of my guests were clients because I had such strong, meaningful relationships with them. So I nurture my relationships and my friendships. So for me, relationships are number one. Work on your relationships. If you're starting a business, it goes way beyond your product or service. People want to know who you are, why you're doing it, what type of person you are, and if they want to engage with your brand. For me, the product and service comes a little bit later on.
Absolutely. You know, like we said before we jumped on the call, I think, you know, the next decade and the way we're going to build our businesses organically is building those authentic relationships and really demonstrating our integrity. I think that's my true belief, that the money will follow.
Absolutely. Nicki, I think you nailed it with that one line. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Shaz, I am so honoured to have had you with me today. Please continue with the amazing work. I'd love to know more about the charity, actually, because as we get ELA launched, we're going to be looking to support charities as well. So I'd love to know more about
amazing. That. I will shoot you over details for Wells on Wheels very shortly.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Brilliant, brilliant.
Thank you so
anyway,
much.
I'll let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for joining me, and many congratulations again.